What's up, Pirates? Ray Talks here with Awaken TCG, and today we have a different camera quality. We're just switching it up and having some fun. Anyways, we got Eggman's pre-finals half case tournament. We're going over all the decks. So top 16 deck list. We're gonna go over total leaders, and yeah, so it was 210 total players. So that's a good amount of players. 8 rounds of Swiss into a top 16 best of 3. And then obviously if you want to go and check out the YouTube or the live stream, those are the links. But yeah, man, this was an insane, like, honestly, I had a really long week, so I was tired. I was able to just chill the whole day and honestly watch a lot of matches, and it was a really great tournament. Shout out to Eggman. I mean, he hosted an amazing tournament. So for total leaders, obviously Sakazuki taking up the bulk at 60. We have Anel with 41. Then Charlotte Katak Curry at 31. So if you add those two up, it's about 72, right? 72 yellow leaders, which is more than Sakazuki if you really think about it. And so very interesting to note. Obviously, we had 27 purple Luffys, which is a good deck. Don't get me wrong. It's a good deck. It does lose going into Sakazuki. It's very hard to win that matchup. You had to, like, triple Magellan, double Magellan, you still might not win. We had 8 ST Luffys, which is the starter deck, red, purple. And then we had 11 Zoro. So Zoro's definitely interesting here, making a case for a great underrated deck. It beats Sakazuki. It struggles against Anel. I'm not gonna lie. It can beat Katak Curry. It can beat Purple Luffy. You rush these leaders down, and you honestly have an easy time. And then 32 other. For our top 16 breakdown, it was 5 Sakazuki, which is warranted, right? It had the most decks. 3 Katak Curry, which is yellow. 3 Anel, so 6 slots for the yellow. 3 Purple Luffy. 1 Newgate and 1 Rob Luchi. So the Rob Luchi is definitely interesting. Shout outs to him. That is insane. Actually being able to, get a top in a tournament like this with a leader like Rob Luchi. Not the easiest feat. Even Edward Newgate, right? Edward Newgate is just one of those decks where you got to be really good on the deck and honestly get a little bit lucky on your rounds. If you get a bad stretch of leaders that you don't want to see, you're not going to be too happy. So our tops, let's go our top 8. So in 8th place, we had 2 Katak Currys, 1 Anel, 1 Sakazuki. In our top 4, it was Sakazuki and a purple Luffy. And then our top 2 is going to be 2nd place runner up and Anel, and then 1st place a purple Luffy. So a purple Luffy actually did take it. I remember watching the finals and thinking, like, there's no way this is the finals. I did have the Luffy winning. Obviously, it's a bad matchup for Anel. It's not unwinnable. It's rough. But it was a very interesting match. The Anel actually ended up taking game 1, but I believe bricked the next 2 games. Hey, that's card games for you. Yeah, he ended up breaking the 2nd game and the 3rd game. And not much you can do at that point. Is just hope you draw into something that can help you out. But it's already a bad matchup, so breaking on top of that just makes, the matchup just probably unwinnable. But regardless, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these lists. We'll take a look at the 1st place list, the 2nd place list. We'll get this Eric's list here at 4th place, and then we'll get 1 Katak Curry list. Let's see, and then maybe a Rob Luchi, and then the Newgate list. So a good wide variety. We'll start at the end here. So this is going to be the Newgate list. Let's go ahead and full screen this. This is the Newgate list, and so one thing I like about this is the use of these rush characters. So you still have that defensive Newgate ability if that ever presents itself as an option, but you're just rushing down your opponent here. Nico Robin to take care of some of the Rebekahs in the Sakazuki matchup, but for the most part it's standard rush. You got your defensive abilities to stay alive. It's just a well-rounded deck here. Would I take this to Nats? Probably not. I mean, I wasn't ever the biggest Newgate fan to begin with, but this deck can definitely do some damage, so be on the lookout for that. Next up, we have Rob Luchi. So I'm not the biggest fan of the color black. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't ever my, like, oh, this color is so good, let me play this color. I was always green, right? Green, a little bit of red, but now seeing how OP06 is coming together, it looks like I'm gonna have to be playing black. It is what it is. I'm gonna be on Perona though, not Sakazuki, not Moria. I'm gonna be on Perona. It's what I'm planning to do. So we'll see how the future develops. But so for this list, it's kind of like a I want to call it like you got your Rob Lucci's, your Great Eruptions, you have your Air Door for momentum earlier on. So you kind of have like this mix and match of like CP9 versus like board control. Like, you run your Rebekahs, you're running your Hinas, your Tashigis, your Surus. So all these cards here with minus cost, and then your Luchis to pop stuff. And you have the Kaku to pop stuff as well. You have your Spandam Searcher for all your CP9, because the majority of this deck is CP9. So definitely some synergy here. Let me see, what are the 2Ks looking like? 6, 8, so 10 2Ks. A very standard list here. 4 Rebekahs, 2-man Sherry's looking like Sakazuki. Yeah, no, made it into top 16. Very, very nice. Let's look at Katak Curry. And yeah, most Katak Curry's lists look like this. Is I think one of the more standard lists. If I'm making it way too big. So this is one of the more standard lists. You have your 3 Amarus, 3 Thunderbolts, just to be able to finish games so fast. Your 4 Big Moms as it is the best yellow card for Big Mom Pirates. 3 Katak Curry, which is interesting. Most lists just run 2. We have 3 of the 8 cost, 3 of the 7 cost, 2 Moms, and 1 Anel. We have 4 Gadatsus, 4 Satori, 4 Sanji, 4 Perospero, 4 Amande, 4 Beige, 4 Pudding, 3 Brulee, and 3 Shirahoshi. So obviously this first half, or maybe first 3/4 of the deck, is very standard. Some decks like to run more tempo based, like crackers and smoothies, and just more triggerable characters. But this is very standard from what I see. Katak Curry is a good deck. It's very sacky. I mean, if you're gonna play this at Nats, hopefully you run into Sakazuki's and you see your 10 moms, right? Now, talking about Sakazuki, let's go ahead and look at the one list here. So very, very different. Already off the bat, we have 4 toy soldiers. So very, very different from what we're usually used to seeing. We have our 4 Tashigis, our 4 Surus. Maybe you run an extra 1 2K like Virgo, or I've seen some run that blue 3 cost where you draw 2, trash 2, or something like that. 2K counter, but we have the 1-man Cherry, obviously for Rebekah standard, brand new standard. Hina, you can go 2 or 3, very standard. Everything here is basically standard except the 4 toy soldiers, and the fact that this deck list is running no Sabos. I'm gonna be honest, I personally believe Sabo is the best card into the yellow matchup. If you're ever in a position to where your opponent can potentially lethal and you just drop a Sabo, and with your existing Borsellino or with your Rebekah, it will trump everything. They can't Yamato KO anything. They can't Thunderbolt and try to go for game. They can't. It negates literally everything that they can do. And so personally, I believe that you have to run Sabo in Sakazuki. It's a great card, and it's good into the mirror as well. But yeah, so two 10 cost Kaidos, so very reliant on the Kaidos here instead of running Sabos for the yellow matchup is what it looks like from what I see. 3 Borsellino standard, and then for the most part, the rest of the deck is very standard. It's just that one little change, no Sabo, different ratios, and you're running a 1-legged toy soldier, so 12 2K. So that does help in other matchups, because a lot of the times if you don't see your 2Ks, your opponents can rush you down. But now with 12 2Ks, it's going to be kind of hard not to see, a couple of them at all times. So very interesting list. Shout out to Eric. He got 4th place, an amazing player. Awesome. Now Anel, let's go ahead and look at this Anel list. Let's full screen this. I personally haven't been liking the Shirahoshi as much, but it's necessary. I've come to terms with it. So I have to, make space for it in my list. But again, this list is very standard. You got your 4 Yamato, your 4 8 cost Katak Curry. You have your 4 7 cost, 3 Gadatsu. You can do 3 or 4. The 2 Charlotte Katak Currys, which is also a great card, especially into the Sakazuki matchup. It just gives you so much. It gives you different lines. Not only can you see your life, you can swing 6K at your opponent, knowing if he's in a bottom deck something anyway, you're able to get your attack off right away. So definitely some different plays there to see. Satori standard, Oma standard, 3 Sanji is fine, 4 Holy, yep, standard, 2 Shura, 1 Brulee, just to get it off trigger maybe. Not bad. You can go 1 Brulee, you can go 4 Sanji. It's a preference thing. 4 Shirahoshi, 2 Konus to be able to get searched off of the Ohm, or I mean the Shura. And so, yeah, I mean, Anel lists are mostly standard like this. Obviously, you kind of just play around with the ratios. You can run Big Mom Pirates, but it's in my opinion, it's proven to be the worst of the two. It is more consistent in finding your Katak Curries, but if you stall a Sakazuki and they're running any 10 cost, whether it be Kuzan, whether it be Kaido, you kind of just lose the matchup, which is rough. And so I wouldn't recommend going Big Mom Pirates, but you know, you're gonna play what you want to play. Next up, the winner Purple Luffy list. Another deck I didn't really try too much. I tested it a couple of times. I gave it a fair share of games. It looks like it's very standard. This list, although it's running the page 1, I don't see that too often. The page 1 ulti combo is I don't see that too often. You got to run the 4 polys. You got to run the 4 Magellans. Your 4 extras for your 2Ks. Your Miss Double Fingers if you want to ramp, or 2Ks. So you're running, what is this, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 2K. So Purple Luffy is one of those decks you don't want to swing 6K at. You want to just swing 5K, 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 because for the most part, he wants to play the 1K counters, right? He wants to play the Law. Obviously, he can counter out with these vanillas, but he wants to play the Queen. He wants to play the blocker kit out of his hand. So you really want to swing 5K or 7K at the Luffys. Don't swing 6K. I definitely have made that mistake, and they just keep giving me 2Ks and 2Ks and 2Ks. And I'm like, well, I'm just wasting my down for one of their cards, right? That I could get anyway. But yeah, 7 cost kid is very interesting. I personally believe that it's great, but not great for 4 of. Some matchups just take care of it too easily, and you just wasted your whole turn. Again, not too sure on, this list as a whole. It won, so obviously it's good, but I just don't have that experience with Purple Luffy, so I'm just giving you my opinion based off what I do know. 3 Kaido is nice because you like to ramp, to 10 instantly and then play your big bodies. 4 Magellans, you need 4 polys. You need, not only do you ramp, you can swing momentum by KOing something. 4 events I think is fine because you run a lot of bricks, so you got to run the 3 Gatlings. But for the most part, very defensive deck, very fast, and an extremely good deck. Just don't run into Sakazukis when they know what they're doing. But that is going to be it for the deck list, guys. This was your whole tournament. Yeah, it was fun to watch. I don't know if there's going to be any more tournaments of this degree up until Nats. And my one issue only from the time period of OPO5's release and Nats is just we had one 3v3 and 1 offline tournament over here in the West. And it kind of sucked. I was hoping to get, some online tournaments in for practice, just some more information, but it's just been a bunch of store tournaments, Eggman tournaments, and, we're making do with what we got. And so can't wait for Nats. I hope to see all you guys there. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. You guys are watching our videos and still not subscribing, man. What's up? We're almost at 4,000 subs. So if you would, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. But that is going to be the end of this video. You guys have a wonderful day. Like this video, comment down below, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.